Hey everyone, this is Serge with Stranded South. We are here at the opening night of the Danny Barker Banjo and Guitar Festival. Let's go inside.
Enjoying it so far. It's a really good event.
You like jazz music?
Yeah, love jazz music, love live band music.
Mr. Sunpie Barnes.
Yes, indeed. I'm so happy to be here one more time at the Danny Barker Festival with some of my favorite people. Greg Stafford, Dr. Michael White, Detroit Brooks, Chris Severin, Herman LeBeau. There's so many wonderful people here who are all big fans of, students of, like we all were, of Danny Barker, and really the gift that he gave to the city of New Orleans, and specifically, but also into the outward world. Danny Barker's music, I love his Creole tunes myself, you know, because I play a lot of Creole music, but all of his blues songs, the humor, and just the delivery. He was one of a kind.
I met Danny Barker when I was at Xavier University. It's a very, very strange story of how we met. I was sitting in the library one day and looking at a book, and there was a picture of Danny and Blue Lou Barker in the book. And I was looking at it, and you know, sometimes you feel a presence, and so I felt something, and I looked up, and standing in the doorway, I thought I saw Danny Barker, and I couldn't believe it. I'm looking at a picture of somebody, and then they appear, you know, and I said, no, this is something, I'm studying too hard, I must be losing it. I closed my eyes, and I opened my eyes again, and no one was in the doorway, so I said that my imagination has gotten the best of me. And after I thought about it, I said, wait a minute, I'm not crazy. I know I saw Danny Barker. And so I got up, went all over the library, looked for him, didn't see him. And I went downstairs to the desk of the library. I told the lady at the desk, I said, did you see an old man with a checkered coat on, a derby on his head, and an instrument case? He said, no. I said, well, I thought I saw. So I went outside and looked all down the street. I didn't see him. So I went all through the library, no Danny Barker. And so finally the lady said, well, we're using the room upstairs as a classroom for the first time. And this was like the first day of class. So I went all the way up the steps, 4th floor, and sure enough, I got to this room, and there was Danny Barker, and I couldn't believe it. So I audited the class informally. I sat in on the class. After the class, we started talking, and we talked for the rest of his life. We became very close. We served on a lot of boards and commissions together. He played with my band quite a lot. I played with his band sometimes. We played with Greg Stafford's group together. We played with other bands, and we've had quite a lot of adventures. You know, I've traveled quite a bit on jobs that he had, and I have a lot of fond memories. But I think when I joined the Fairview, I could really see the value of what Mr. Barker was doing, because he was trying to inspire young people to learn about their music heritage, and you know, not only to help them out you know, in learning history and all of that, but to give them a possible career choice and outlet, to give them a source of pride and heritage, and the idea of, you know, learning traditional music as a way of making a living and gaining respect and staying out of trouble, keeping off the streets. So that was very profound. But you know, a lot of people don't know Danny Barker's importance outside of New Orleans. I mean, of course, he played with Cab Calloway and many, many other people, but he is one of the most widely quoted musicians in jazz. But even more than that, he recorded with the widest range of people, of anyone in jazz. I mean, he played or recorded with people like
Louis Armstrong, Jerry Roll Morton, on down to Charlie Parker, you name it. Danny Barker had cause and effect on this whole planet.
Dizzy Gillespie, Billie Holiday, Lester Young, Coleman Hawkins, ended up playing with Wynton Marsalis and the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, so you don't get that wide of a range in the entire history of jazz. And he was a very, very important and influential figure.
Joy and the very astute humor that he brought to the world. So I'm appreciative and always happy to be here and support the Danny Barker Festival. And I'm looking forward to it. We're off and running one more year.
Mr. Detroit Brooks, everybody. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here having fun and celebrating a great cause. And so lift up your glass, everybody, and give him a toast. Detroit Brooks and Mr. Danny Barker, everybody.
On Thursday night, we're going to have Danny Barker's birthday bash with Dr. Michael White, Greg Stafford, Thompson Chapman, and special guest that's going to come in and perform. I'll be performing also at the Snug Harbor.
Playing with Joe Hall and the King Cutters. And when I approached Detroit about the Danny Barker Festival, what struck me was the connection with culture in New Orleans, which to me is the most important part of New Orleans. And the music that is so authentic to the city is the jazz music, the music that Danny Barker came and really revived when he came back. And that same culture is similar to the Creole culture, the Cajun, Zydeco culture. And Joe Hall is a Creole musician. We work together a lot, and I introduced Joe to Detroit, and we talked about his culture, and Detroit was pretty open-minded. He said, you know, we're all about Louisiana culture here, so let's invite Joe to play, and so we're excited about that.
The rhythms are all the same.
The rhythms are all the same.
When it all boils down, it's like a gumbo.
I think Detroit and I share a passion for the tradition of music and how music has evolved, but also how it came from an earlier culture. You don't want to forget where it came from, and I think Danny Barker had a big influence in New Orleans, and if we don't bring his music back, it could be lost.
Exactly, and we're losing it every day now. You know, because if you look at the brass bands on the corner, they're playing pop music. They're not playing traditional music. And New Orleans was noted as a traditional, I mean, you know, it's jazz, but it was traditional jazz. It's different from bebop jazz and any other kind of jazz. So that would make New Orleans one of the greatest cities in the world.